This is by far probably the most embarrassing video I put on my YouTube channel, so let's do this. Hello my beautiful Nicolettes, welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new, and if you are new, it would mean so much if you guys click that red subscribe button to join the YouTube family. I have all the tea, let me tell you. Today I thought I would do a nice little story time, and a lot of you guys seem to be loving my period routines. I'll link also a period playlist down below because I just made a playlist for all my period related videos and you guys seem to love them. I have such an embarrassing period story that I try to block out of my memory and never think about, but it for some reason still creeps in my life from time to time. Question of the day, leave your period stories in the comments down below. If you had a horror period story, let me know so I'm not embarrassed on my own. We can all just, you know, laugh at each of our hardships when it comes to our girl problem. Thumbs it up if you guys want more period related videos, and leave a comment, tell me what you want to see next. And also, thank you guys so much for heading over to my Instagram. I told you guys I'd be following a bunch of you and I got overwhelmed with how many of you guys have followed me, and I did follow a bunch of you. Unfortunately, I can't follow everyone, but I'm gonna do it again. So if you guys do follow me on my Instagram at NicolettaXOYT, I will be following a bunch of you, so make sure you guys comment that you're coming from this video so I know to follow you back. But enough talking, and let's just jump into the story. Here it goes. Okay, so this story rewinds all the way back to my high school days, and I believe I was about 15 or 16 years old at this time, and I can never let this day go. So I was actually a bridesmaid for my mom's best friend's daughter. What's really funny is when she was younger, she always said she wanted me in her wedding, but she wanted me to be the flower girl because I was so young. But obviously by the time she got married, I could no longer be a flower girl, so she asked me to be a bridesmaid and I accepted. So especially at this time when I was about 15 to 16, I was definitely going through an awkward stage in my life. I got really easily embarrassed, and you know that whole teenage year, just a lot of things embarrass you and you just feel kind of sometimes uncomfortable in your skin because you're still trying to get to know yourself, you're still developing. So I did my bridesmaid duties, of course, and fast forward to the time of her wedding. So her wedding day was in the summertime, and let me tell you, it was such a hot, humid day. It was so humid, and then it started raining, and then it'd get humid where my hair just frizzed up. I just felt so gross, and I was not expecting to get my period at this time. So at this point, we are at the church ceremony and she is getting married to her husband, and I'm just standing there and I'm starting to get really bad cramps. If you guys know me, I get really excruciating pain for my cramps when I first get my period. It is honestly the worst. It hurts so bad. I just want to crawl up in a ball and literally cry. But of course, I could not do that because I was standing at the church, and also I thought, I'm not supposed to get my period. My period's supposed to come in a week. So I was not expecting my period, so I just thought they were just little cramps and they'll go away. The cramps started to go away, and then after the ceremony was done was the time where you take pictures for the wedding. So we left, the bridesmaid and the groom and bride and the groomsmen, all that, we left onto, I believe we were like on a bus or something. I can't even remember, but we all left to go to the location so we can all take photos. And at this time, it was so humid and it was just on and off rain, and I started getting my cramps again. And I was like, uh-oh, I better not get my period because I had nothing on me. I had no pads. I had no menstrual tools on hand, so I was just praying that I did not get my period. So all of a sudden, I felt really bad cramps again, and I decided to go to the washroom. And of course, when I went to the washroom, what did I see is I got my period. At this point, I was like, crap, what do I do? I don't have anything with me. I was freaking out, and I didn't want to tell anyone because at this point too, I was still like kind of embarrassed to talk about periods. Now, we're all girls here. Periods is a natural part of life. I just don't really care at this point. I feel like when you get older, you stop really caring as much. But I was still so embarrassed and I was like freaking out inside the bathroom. I remember I didn't know what I was going to do. So I decided to wrap the toilet paper around my underwear. And at this point I leaked through my underwear, but I couldn't do anything about it. So I just wrapped a ton of toilet paper, making like a makeshift pad for the moment. So we're going out and we're taking pictures and I was like, yes, I got this. It shouldn't be that bad. Usually my first date is not bad at all. So I was like, it's gonna be good. And then all of a sudden, I look down at my leg and I see drips of blood going down my leg. I know. TMI. I got period on my dress, on my underwear. It was going down my leg. I literally could have died in that moment. I thought I was going to pass out in that moment. I was so embarrassed. I didn't know who to tell, so I ended up going to my mom's best friend and telling her, and I was crying to her. I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do because my parents were still back home and they were gonna come for the wedding ceremony after the pictures and all that stuff. So I was crying to her. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't even like look or talk to anyone. No one had any tools on them except one person had a tampon on them. And at the time, I did not ever wear a tampon. I've never tried using a tampon. They gave me this tampon that I remember to this day, and it was like one of those tampons that, you know how a lot of tampons, they have the push thing so it's easier to go in and they're very thin. This was like a thick tampon that you had to manually put up. I mean, this is very graphic. So I remember taking it and I'm like, great, I don't know how to use this thing. And I tried to put the tampon in, but it was not working. I could not get it in. I didn't know how to do it. I was grossed out. I was freaked out. And I just remember like freaking out and crying and thinking this was the worst day of my life. So what I ended up doing, it was almost time where my parents were gonna come to the ceremony. So my mom's friend actually called my mom and told her to bring a new change of like underwear and shorts and pads. And what I ended up doing is I couldn't put the tampon. I didn't use the tampon. I just threw it out after. I didn't tell anyone because I was too embarrassed. So I just kept putting a crap ton of toilet paper again, making a makeshift pad and putting so much and checking every like few minutes to make sure I was good. And then we were able to get into the car, and thank God my mom saved the day and gave me new underwear, new shorts. I'm pretty sure my mom had to, my mom had to help me wash the dress so there was no stain on it. And then I ended up changing and having a pair of kind of like biker shorts, but not as long, just kind of like spandex shorts so that I had extra support with my underwear as well, so I doubled up. I was just so embarrassed. I was crying to my mom. You guys know the struggle. I've had such bad cramps. I felt so bloated. My hair was so poofy from the humidity and just the rain on and off outside. It was honestly horrible. And I ended up taking Advil as well. My mom gave me some Advil to help with the cramps, but I honestly was just so embarrassed. I literally couldn't even look at people because obviously everyone knew what happened to me. Even though I didn't tell them, I'm sure they all knew because I was literally like having a panic attack, crying on and off everywhere, and I just looked like a mess. I will never live this day down. It was honestly the worst period story that has ever happened to me. Getting your freaking period and having a leak when you're a bridesmaid. This stuff only happens to me, I swear. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I know this was a different kind of period video, but I love listening to like people's period stories because, you know, we've all been there. We've all had a leak in our life, and even though it felt like the end of the world that day, I got through it. I still tried to block that memory out, but you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Don't forget to click the subscribe button to join the family because I do upload every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And don't forget to leave down a period story. I'm curious to hear your stories and if you guys had any horror stories. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, evening, or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye!